Hi there, and it's really good to have you along here. This is part 5 of my grand locomotive collection tour. This is the 5th video, so hopefully this will be the final one. So we can see here we're in the back bedroom, and you can see the locomotives that I talked about in the last video down there in storage on Grove Street Yard. But above them we've got some of these little cabinets, little as in the LIDL, the shop chain, supermarket chain, and every year they seem to do these cabinets, big ones and small ones. So this year the small ones haven't seen any about, but every year I do stock up, and I think, oh well, that'll be enough to put my collection on display, and I fill them, and I still have more in storage. But hey, there we go. Right, we're going to go down to the bottom shelf, which is where I've got a few locomotives. So we're going to take a look at these. And there we have a Backman Class 20, weathered. I think that the last owner may have weathered this rather than it being factory weathered, but again, stand to be corrected. I bought this second hand from Arcadia Models in Shore, and I believe actually the person who formerly owned it, I think I've talked to them on RM Web, because they mentioned that when I think it went up on a trains going by video out in the shed a long time ago now, and they said, oh, if you got that from Arcadia, then that was the one I traded in. But anyway, next to it we've got, I think this was the very first release of the Backman Class 25. I'm a self-confessed rat nut, rat of course being the nickname for the Class 24s, 25s. And when these first appeared, I fell immediately in love with the model. So here we have 25087 with the plastic grab rails there, no directional lights on it, and I don't think it even has a DCC chip socket, because it's actually been on the market that long, but it certainly is a really good model in my book. Next to it we have 24047. Now I bought this second hand. And for those of you who are thinking, I don't remember Backman releasing that number, well, they didn't. That's been renumbered. I bought it second hand. It was renumbered by the previous owner. But I snapped at the chance, actually, for a really good price, because I thought, saves me the bother. I'm not very good at doing things like renumbering. So it was perfect to increase my Class 24 fleet, well, the tops numbered fleet. So that's why that has got slight discrepancies between the other tops classes, and I believe it may have started out as number 5087 and it's been renumbered accordingly from the pre-tops BR Blue version that Backman released. Next to it, 24035. This is the one that Backman released with either digital sound, or I suspect it was with DCC, the very first factory released. It may even have been part of a set, but again, this one has a convoluted history. Its chassis is from my own 5087, which you can see next to it there. And how this came about was I preferred the tops numbers, and I bought 5087 when it was new because I was buying every single one of these that was being released. And I hit upon the idea that rather than sell 5087 and buy a 24035, what about if I could find the lid off 24035 and put the chassis underneath it? So 24035 there, the lid was bought brand new as a spares item from Backman. At the time they were selling them for, I think it was about £25. And hey presto, £25, and I had a fully functional tops numbered BR Blue Class 24. Much later on, I was able to buy second hand a Class 24. In fact, I'm not even sure if that is a 24 chassis. Let me just double check. No, I think that is a Class 25 chassis. There are a few detail differences. But I was offered it for about £5, fully working, and I thought, you know what, having that. Slipped it underneath that top, and really from a distance it's not really a problem. The handrails I had to manufacture myself, and I did that from some very fine brass wire that I had knocking about in my spares box. So I'm actually quite pleased with the job I did with those. They're probably not, well, certainly the Class 24s have this slightly different handrails, as you can see there. And they're more in keeping with what the 25 has, but, you know, it does the job. Looking a bit dusty as well, actually. I could probably do with keeping that a clean. Next to it, we have D5054. The real one of these, I think, is at the East Lancs Railway. And it's one of 4 Class 24s that do survive in real life. And I just had a soft spot for this in the all-over green, the grey roof, and the white rail around the bottom. I just thought, you know what? I quite like that livery, and at the time I was buying one of every example, so there we go. And I think that's the story behind the two-toned Class 25 next to it. Again, early release from Backman, no DCC chip holder, no directional lights, but runs really well. They're still all-wheel drive from the outset, so no complaints there. Now, in these cabinets, you see most of what else is in here is rolling stock, so it's really just a place to keep an awful lot of it. There's no real limited editions in there that I can think of. There's the Plaza I don't know how it's pronounced, the Plaza Thura Tampa, and that's actually the very first release that Backman did. And it doesn't have a motor in it. It's non-motorised. It was bought brand new for about, I think they were about £18 unmotorised when they first came out. And that just shows you how much prices have gone up since then. That would have been about, I'm guessing, 2001, 2002, something like that. We've got plenty of wagons there. And then, oh, these are the Hornby Gresley coaches, former teak coaches. I love these, and I've got plenty of them. Those are in crimson and cream. I think some of those were in the box opening. The very first box opening I did of the, I can't remember what the train pack was. There's a train pack with Andrew K. McCosh as the Class A4, and then a whole load of these. And I bought the expansion pack at the same time, which gave me, I think it was 6 coaches, which was really quite nice. Another row, mostly air-braked wagons. And then above we've got, again, the teak coaches, but in the early BR period, teak livery, but BR lettering, and the grey roofs. It didn't prove to be a popular livery. It did look like the teak grain finish wasn't as crystal clear as the ones which are over here, which, if I can just zoom in, let's get a comparison. That's the teak finish on those. And if we go back over here, it's very difficult because the way the light's shining. But yeah, it's, I think, yes, there is a little bit of a decline. Not helped by the way that it's lined, and the underframe colour is more of a sort of a mud brown. And the grey roof doesn't do it any favours. But these are my favourite livery. Very reminiscent of the old D1 and D2 tin plate coaches that Hornby 00 did. Well, the D2 was the articulated. If you had one of those, that certainly was something very special. But these are wonderful. And I just wish that Hornby would bring some more out in this livery. We've got more coaches there, more wagons. Again, I don't think there's any more special commissions in here at all. Just going through. We do have, you may have spotted it briefly, this is an Electro Tren 060. It's actually HO, but it's good for an industrial locomotive, and it was very, very cheap actually. So I purchased this, I think it was about £40, brand new. Tim at Arcadia in Shaw had bought a few in different liveries, and the other livery had sold out, but I bought one of these to put it to the test. And I still have long-term aspirations to perhaps number it up as a slightly fictitious locomotive in the MSC fleet. for Grove Street Yard. And I'll see how well that works out. But for now, it sits in this cabinet. We've got some of the Backman coaches there. That Test Car 6 is a duplicate. You may recognise it from one of the previous videos, because I have a second one, convoluted story. I accidentally bought two, in that I ordered one mail order. Normally with the RTC, they sold out so quick, you had to get in quick. So I ordered one mail order from the Signal box, and I also ordered one from the Model Zone in Manchester. And lo and behold, both came through, so I ended up with two. Now, up here we have, it's the Hornby Super Detail Class 50 in large logo blue as Arc Royal 50035. Well, we're out here on the landing, and so I keep another one of these little display cabinets on what we call the cool wall. Lots of photographs down there. We've got Zoe with the, I probably can't really zoom in. Zoe with the Prime Minister. She wasn't Prime Minister at the time, and it's Chris Barry, Ian McKellen, William Hague, you know, a few odds and ends like that. But this is what we're interested in. We've got more coaches, more of those lovely Hornby coaches. They really do know how to do coaches well. Some of their Pullmans there. Camping coach that they did, I think really because the Frizinghall Models one sold so well, they got in on the action, and yeah, I bought one, and it's alright. Some more of the Backman Mark 1s, that's a Backman Metro Camel Pullman. Interesting story behind that. I think it was one of the writers for BRM. I met him at a show, and he had a big box of wagons and stuff, and I said rather flippantly to him, I said, "Oh, you've been out stocking up for your personal collection then?" He said no, there were review samples and he didn't really know what to do with them, and I said, "Oh, well, you can give them to me if you want." And he did. Very nice chap. I really regret not learning his name, but he gave me a whole load of them, and I couldn't be greedy, so I said, "Look, I can't take them all." And there was a couple of other people, as there always is when free stuff appears. Like, "Oh, well, any chance we could have some?" So we kind of just shared it out between about 3 or 4 of us. And I got that and a few triple packs of wagons. London Transport L90. Kernow Model Centre did release a few of these limited edition with different guises. Backman have also produced at least one other, possibly 2, as parts of the main range at varying times. So a lot of these locomotives that were sold out of service to London Transport have bizarrely been modelled in the Backman range. Other things of interest, got a few little Mamod trinkets up there. Just those 3. So there we have it. There is another cabinet lurking about, but it only has rolling stock in. Don't forget to like this video, share it too, and subscribe to the channel, and you'll be the first to know about new videos as and when they go up. Anyway, I hope you are taking very good care of yourself, and I really do look forward to seeing you again next time. Bye for now.